The government doesn't want you living like this. Because when you escape the modern system, you stop paying for things that they benefit from. In 2020, I walked away from the debt, the bills, the grind, and chose a lifestyle that they never expect you to choose. The government keeps you trapped in an endless cycle of living check to check with mortgage, groceries, bills, and if you stop paying, they'll take it all. Most people's very most expensive bills are either rent or mortgage and groceries, and then utilities. Now imagine if today you stopped having to pay rent or mortgage, and therefore you were able to invest that money in yourself and building the infrastructure for your homestead. So not only are you now eliminating rent or mortgage, you're greatly going to reduce the cost of groceries and utilities. Here's how I did it, starting with almost nothing. Truth is, people weren't designed to work a 9 to 5 for their entire life in order to just barely get by. Living check to check, that was never supposed to be part of the plan. You know what's kind of wild is money isn't the solution either. There are plenty of millionaires who are still stuck in the same trap, living check to check, because they don't know how to manage their money. What good is it to become a millionaire if you're stuck in the same trap? Even if I had to slave away equally as hard to create my own homestead, I would much prefer to invest my time in myself than someone else. I'm not trying to paint a pretty picture here that's not realistic or logical. Life is suffering, but you get to choose what kind of suffering you're going to endure. I bet most of you can relate to just working and working and working, and it just never seems to pay off. You know, work your way up from the bottom of a company and they don't seem to care, you know. They'll just lay you off one day when it benefits them, and instead of putting all of that effort into building somebody else's brand, you could do that for yourself, for your brand or for your homestead. I'm not saying that life is for everyone. You've got to be a self-motivated self-starter. Come on, Sleeps. Sleeps. Come. Go home. Somehow, by the time I was 5 years old, I knew that I wanted to live off-grid and homestead, grow my own food, and I even liked the idea of being a hermit like the guys I'd seen in some of the movies. But there was still a point of realization later in life, you know, when I realized no matter how hard you work for another company, you know, you pretty much have to have your own business if you really truly want to be successful. And did you know most millionaires don't even have a high school diploma? I'm pretty sure that's a correct statistic. There's a huge amount of people that run successful businesses that they wouldn't even say they're smart. It doesn't take a college degree, or, you know, you just have to be willing to do it. Anyway, there's that day when you're like, this isn't it. And I had been laid off in 2020, and that's when I decided to just go all in on off-grid. It's really not a matter of how much money you make. Someone can live this lifestyle, make way less than $100,000 a year, and have all their needs met, and be able to save money for retirement. I think a lot of pretty average people could find a cheap piece of land, live within their means, start a business, create sources of income, and afford this lifestyle and have more leftover spending cash for entertainment and security and savings than somebody that's making millions of dollars, but they're still on that financial treadmill. One of the first things I did when I moved out here was think of what kind of products that I'm actually truly passionate about, that I can truly believe in and stand behind, can I create to sell to other people to help them on their homesteads and on their journey. And for the people that were on the fence, I created a very detailed, free ultimate guide to off-grid living on my website to help people figure out how to do what I've done and to answer all the most commonly asked questions. So I decided to break the cycle. I bought cheap land, I grew cheap food, I harvested cheap water, I created income my own ways, not the system's ways. And here's the truth. The government doesn't want you living like this, because as soon as you do, you stop paying into the system that's designed to control you. No mortgage, no power bill, no electric bill, no water bill. My grocery bill might just disappear one of these days. I'm not rich. I'm free.